Many thanks, Cecil, and many thanks, Natalie, for inviting me for this ParkLife event. Very much appreciate the invite. So today I'm going to talk about the Nature Friendly Farming Network, which is a relatively new organisation you may or may not have heard of. We're just kind of getting ourselves established in Scotland, and we think we have a lot of appeal and can do an awful lot for crofters and farmers like yourself. So, as Cecil said, I'm Phil Knott. I'm a crofter on the Isle of Skye. I've got a history a background in wildlife tour guiding, nature conservation, and now very happily settled on a croft on the Isle of Skye. And that's where I found the network. So I say the network's new. We were first launched at the Oxford Real Farming Conference in 2018. And have been ever present at that big event. And we are a farmer-led movement. And so that means our steering groups are comprised of farmers, and we try and have as many different walks of farming represented. And all 4 nations of the UK have their own separate steering groups as well, which with the devolved agricultural matters, it's important that we have a voice direct to our local MPs. We're very much a strong voice for regenerative farming, and so we use the word regenerative there as well. That's kind of coming into the phrase an awful lot more. Obviously, we're looking at sustainable activities in many cases, but regenerative going forward as well, not just maintaining the status quo, but looking at building back fertility and making our land as productive as possible, and making sure farms are economically and environmentally viable. And representing all farmers to make sure that nature-friendly farming policies are kept high on the agenda, not so focused on production potentially. So our policies are fairly simple as an organisation, and it's all about this sustainable and kind of regenerative approach. It's focused around the environment, on making sure our soil is in good order, our water and air is clean, and that the land will be productive, if not more productive, for the future generations. And of course, as farmers, we can, or crofters, we can make a sustainable business out of it, as well as tackling a lot of the bigger issues going forward environmentally as well. We realise that we're uniquely placed for that. We want to make sure that our voices are heard and that we get fairly represented in the discussions on legislation. And importantly, as I see with the main green policy there, that all farmers can access support for farming in ways that benefit nature and they're rewarded for the public benefits they deliver in terms of improving the health of our wildlife and landscapes and natural resources. That sums up very nicely. So as a new organisation, we've done very well at securing, this is just farmer membership here, so you can join NFFN as a farmer or crofter. There's also a supporter membership as well for those who don't have a farm or croft, and all membership is free. We need to stress that we're just a network. We're just trying to represent as many voices as we can, and so having all of these parts of the nation well represented. And you see Scotland there at 221, and that's increasing all the time. You can see the curve on there. It seems to be continuing to grow at that level as well as word of the network spreads out. We've only just started reaching out into the crofting counties, and we have Hazel up in Shetland, who's one of our steering group members as well. She's been doing good promotion. But for the other crofting counties, we're still working on that. There's a lot of nature-friendly practices already going on, a lot of high nature value aspects to it. So we're very keen to make sure that all these farmers are well represented, as I'll be reaching out to the crofting counties an awful lot more. And then supporter membership as well, that's growing exponentially. And it's just for folk who are interested and want to support us and keep a handle on what we're doing. We don't see ourselves as a conservation body. We don't see ourselves as kind of anything other than a network of farmers with a shared interest and love of making sure that nature is at the very heart of our practices. And a lot of folk have thought this is a great idea and think that the network is very well placed to deliver a lot of outcomes and to be a powerful voice you can see our organisational membership is high, including most of the conservation charities of the UK that we work proudly alongside, as well as some of the farming ones as well. So very much supported across the board. If you haven't found us on social media, you'll find us quite active on there. We've got a Facebook page, Nature Friendly Farming Network. Just search for that. We've also got a group on that basis where you can kind of have chats on this basis. And you think, well, it might not be relevant for me. I'm a crofter in Shetland, or I'm a crofter in Outer Hebrides, or wherever. I don't have much to say about arable issues in the East. Completely different world to me. But no, there's plenty of folk on there, and we want to make sure we represent everyone. And it's a friendly network at the end of the day. So it's not a case of coming on there with something you're doing positively or something you have a question about. You'll find someone to be able to support you with that. And we're happy to support businesses reciprocally as well. So particularly for things like Twitter and Instagram as well, if you use those for your marketing already, as members as well, you could get reciprocal boosts and posts, as well as support from the team as they are. So we're all just in it for the love of it. And also on LinkedIn as well. Very high engagement levels on these. Ticks a lot of boxes for people. People really seem to enjoy the demonstrating the positive side of farming and what we're doing for wildlife and climate. Our steering ropes, as I say, they represent all aspects of farming, and we'll try and submit responses for all consultations that come out on farming, so that we're recognised as an important farming voice, a slightly alternative voice to some of the other farming bodies, but a voice all the same. And we're trying our very best as well to make sure we're speaking to up here in Scotland MSPs, attend as many events as we can, invite MSPs around to see our practices, to join our meetings, so they can meet a whole suite of nature-friendly farming members from across all the counties of Scotland. We have a lot of reports out that are relevant to all areas, particularly the Nature Mead business, the first one you see there, all available on the web to download and through our social media. But the Nature Mead's business covers all aspects of farming in the United Kingdom, and so very much relevant to us crofters in Shetland and the Outer Isles, places where we deliver a huge amount for nature, as well as providing food and jobs for the economy. And as we're going forward as well, larger publications which are being very, very well received, the Practical Guide to Net Zero Farming, and then the Future of Farming as well, very much well picked up on it, and more will come as well. With our expertise, we can tap into an awful lot, and these are very well received at Westminster and Hollywood. Engagement, so social media is strong, and we try and make sure we maintain good contact with our members, both supporters and farmers, through e-newsletters, mail outs as well, making sure you receive all the latest leaflets and pamphlets. We started a new series of podcasts to give a voice to nature-friendly farmers. Really interesting, worth just checking out from all walks of life across the UK. So there's always some relevant content, and I suppose for us as crofters, you look at maybe some of the more marginal hill areas of England and Wales, and there's a lot to compare. There's a lot to learn from. A lot of practices that are very similar, particularly regarding grazing regime and management for waders and wildflowers and so forth. Plenty of blogs and then case studies are all available on the web. So there's plenty to find similarities. And going forward, we'll try and organise as many online conferences, webinars and events, and just make sure that we're out there and visible and engaging, because we want to make sure that all nature-friendly farmers have a voice, and so we can be the one place where they can just gather together. So at the end of the day, we are a network, and that's how I joined. I wanted to be part of a network where I feel like I can just ask if I've got any difficulties, if I've got any questions or queries about farming practice. You know, we're all learning all the time, and it's a great support network within that as well, and to go along to various events and training and so forth. It's been fantastic as a young crofter to come into it. So much expertise and help out there, and everyone's just happy to engage. And for the UK, there's lots going on, of course, lots going on. Very big year. Obviously, COP26 was put back, and there's some big events. Going for the Low Carbon Agricultural Show is another one. And all the various conferences, Northern Real Farming Conference, Oxford Real Farming Conference, Oxford Farming Conference, and then feeding into a lot of the bigger strategies. And of course, there's a lot of chatter at various levels of carbon markets and training and tree planting and agricultural payments. We want to make sure that we're in the mix of that, and we are at present. It's a very, very busy time and a very exciting time to be involved. Slightly uncertain, of course, with lots of things on the horizon, but we'd like to think that this is a sustainable way forward. And in Scotland, again, lots going on, agricultural bill and elections next year. And so we'll find out what's going on with payments, but trying to drive forward, making sure that the agricultural payments are maintained and push more towards environmental goods and deliveries, certainly looking towards, for our areas, public good deliveries of wildlife and clean water and just maintaining our wonderful habitats as they are, as well as producing food at the same time, of course. We've just received some funding for Knowledge Transfer Innovation Fund as well, and so we'll be delivering some more training for all areas of farming. So there will be one for grazing on the islands and highlands, and plenty of other programs to get involved in. Of course, we're not all experts in all these particular things, but throughout the team we've got the representatives, and as volunteers on the steering group, there's always opportunities to learn from each other. And happily take any questions at the end of the presentation. But thank you very much again, and I look forward to seeing some of your future events. Cheers.